Hello and welcome to this reading. I hope this is working. Um, we'll see how it turns out. My name is Allie with A. Murray Speaks, and this video is going to be a reading using my fairy ring deck here on the eve of the winter solstice. I thought it was perfect time for a sort of wrap up end of the year reading to see how we have moved through this year, 2023, and what we can expect and bring into 2024. And so I'm going to do a spread following the fairy ring. It's an 8-card spread, and it basically gives an oversight of all things up to this moment and then what to look forward to. I thought it was beautiful to do here on the 20th. Like I said, it's the day before the winter solstice. We have Christmas coming up. We have full moon right after Christmas, and then we have New Year's and 2024. So I have already got myself sort of settled and ready. I have this different setup going. I really hope it's going to work out. The camera is not ideal, but I have my house kind of in a jumble right now for Christmas, and I have this extra table for wrapping and stuff out, and it's right in the middle of my room, so it's kind of not ideal for doing video the way I usually do, but I thought I could do a reading. So hopefully you can see, and you can see the cards much better with this sort of setup. And so I'm just going to go over the placement of the cards first and talk about that just for a moment so that we know where we're going. This, if you see here, oh, of course my lighting isn't, better to use that camera, right? This is the spread. It's a ring, obviously, a circle, 8 cards. Our first card will be the current life phase. Our second card is what is behind you. The third card is what is before you. The fourth card is weaknesses to overcome. The fifth card is strengths that need to be developed. 6 will show us obstacles that lie in our way. 7, what will help us. And the final outcome is number 8. And as the final outcome, I'm kind of seeing this card number 8 as how we go into 2024. And what the final kind of outcome of our whole year has been, right? So as I get started here, I've already done some peaceful meditation and grounding and things this morning, so I am not going to do an entire meditation here like I do sometimes on Fridays for my saints and angels. I'm just going to get right into the reading because with 8 cards, it's a little long to start off with, right? And so here at the start, just going to hold my deck for a moment, and I will just quickly ask us to close our eyes, gently relax your gaze, just settle into the moment for a minute and detach from any external distractions that might be present so that we could just gather together within our heart centers, right at this table of sovereignty that I talk about so much, to gather together and ask for an audience of our beautiful guides. So I'm going to close my eyes, and you can too. And just take a conscious moment to take a breath in and feel gratitude for having the conscious awareness to even watch a video like this, to even take time out to do something, not only for yourself, but for the collective as well. And so I begin by thanking you, audience here with me in 3D, watching these screens. I thank you so much for joining me. And I thank you for witnessing my journey. And as I thank myself as well for showing up and for being here. And now we could turn our hearts and minds to the collective and thank humanity for its journey, for its ups and downs, for the opportunities it brings us in all different shades of experiences and scenarios. experience. Thank you for this journey, Chance at Life. And as we turn our hearts one time outward further to that great unknown, to the spirit world, to the astral, etheric worlds, to our guides, to fairies, elementals, the saints and angels, higher selves, God, Mother Earth, Source, the universe, infinite intelligence, so many varieties. All of those who stand with us now, this beautiful sacred circle, gathering the end of the year 2023 to join and hear and reflect, to ruminate and listen, to absorb and integrate, to really allow, accept, to observe and see what is, what has been, what may be. Thank you again for carving out this time for yourself, for allowing beautiful awareness and wisdom to seek truths, to seek your higher good, to seek the highest good of humanity, the highest good of our beautiful earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I'm just going to shuffle my deck here for a moment and get a feel for it. I really love these cards. I've had these cards, these are my first deck ever, and if you are not new to my channel, you've probably heard me talk about them and seen me use them a few times. Although I do more regularly use traditional tarot and Saints and Angels Oracle deck. This fairy deck is so beautiful, is so particular, joyful, creative, that I thought for the winter solstice, of course, a sacred, magical time with Christmas and all those other traditions and ancient stories and myths and legends that come with this beginning of winter time, and with the making it through the darkness and light, all of the free spirit of giving that Christmas embodies. All these things, friendship, family, gathering, sharing, gifting, so beautiful. And so I'm going to do what I like to do when I do readings sometimes, which is cascade these across and choose my cards for my deck like this. This is the original way that I used to always read, and it's nice to harken back to foundational things sometimes, right? So I'm going to close my eyes here and just get a feel for the cards, and I'll just pick them out. And what card I pick first will be number 1 and 2 and 3. So careful to keep them in consecutive order when I collect them up here. Okay. 1, 2. The 8 cards, and I'm going to lay out the spread now. We have 1, skip this just a minute to make sure I have space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm going to bump out of space. Should have designated this a little earlier. Beautiful. So we have our cards laid out. I love to lay them out like this. This is, again, original. It's ways that I learned to do tarot and appreciate the spread and the fullness, and to take time with it as well. I don't always do readings like this, and a lot of times there's great value in flipping them as you go and feeling the energies as they change, and reading them quickly like that. But here, like I said, for this winter solstice reading and the fairy ring spread, I'm going to take my time and bring back a bit of foundational understandings into this reading. And so I'm going to go now and go through and we'll flip the cards and see what we have. I'm going to give just a little repeat of what each card means so that we have just a reminder. So our first card is our current life phase. This is collective but individual as well. So it's where we're standing here on the cusp of the end. It also signifies the main points or aspects that the cards see in us and would like to speak on us right now. Oh, how beautiful. I'll go through with my book after and we'll read through the meanings directly from the book. I love to do that with this deck especially. But as you can see, this card here, Bay Find, is the fairies. It's number 4 from spring set, and it is all about those gifts you're given, those that beautiful myth of the 3 fairies who come and give you gifts at a christening, at a birth of a child. And yes, it has that Sleeping Beauty aspect to it as well. That's card number 1. That's our current life phase. So they want to speak on us using our gifts and really understanding and using them to the full worth. Card number 2 is what is behind us. Behind us. Oh, actually, here, let me do this too. We'll show them as we read them. We'll show them as we read them. I'm getting overexcited. Sorry. Card number 2, what is behind us? The Blue Hag, the Lady of Winter. Just to say that the darkness of winter is behind us. The feelings of the darkness of winter. Can't get my card up right. Card number 3, what is before us right now? And it's Garcon, or 6 of spring. This is a real message about not being tricked by inverted false positivities, false romances, things that look too good to be true. Card number 4, weaknesses to be overcome in the year to come. The Banshee, 4 of autumn. To overcome being afraid of things, but also to know and heed warning calls, respect the ancient myths of the hearkenings of danger, and to heed them and respect them. Okay, card number 5, strengths that will need to be developed. Wow, 6, Ain. Standing up for your truths, what is right, fighting for justice, especially for women, for sacred innocence, to be innocent in your right. Wow. Card 6 will be obstacles to lie in our way. 8, Tamlin, 8 from summer. Wow, such beautiful numbers too. Obstacles that will lie in our way. Wow, we have to really fight for what we love, stand for truth and for what we believe is true love. Card number 7, what will help us along the way? Jack Frost. How perfect for this time too. Wow, 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 the energy of Jack Frost. He is a knave card of winter. And final, our outcome and where we stand at and what 2024 will bring forward to us, what the cards would like to remember. Wow. It's a fairy festival card, which is sort of significant like a major arcana. However, there are a lot less in this deck than there are of a major arcana in traditional. The fairy festival, Samhain, Halloween, it is reversed as well. So remembering and not twisting the hard work we put in. Remember, the little things really matter, and they really set us up for having a positive winter time. It really has been dependent on what that energies were brewing and collecting through October, through that whole festival time. So whatever I feel, whatever energies resonating and were born and built upon at that time are really going to be carrying over into 2024. So perhaps looking at what you were doing, what energies you're feeling at that time. Let's dive in quickly to each card, and I will read each card, the meanings. So we have our initial card number 1, which is 4 of spring. like I said, I'll show the card here quickly too, so everybody can see it. You have the 3 gifts. Whoops, wrong way. So funny, with the baby lying in the bassinet there. When Bayfine appears in the spread, she indicates some rite of passage. Since she manifests at births, marriages, and deaths, the surrounding cards will reveal what events are indicated, though she may simply herald a life-changing experience. Like I said, within the message of her card, there is this bestowing of gifts, standing in the gifts that you were bestowed with and discovering them and knowing them. So taking the time to do that as well. Card number 2, we'll go right over to the lady here, the blue hag. And you can see she has a crow there with her. Now, these are like the face cards in this deck can represent real people, or they have a message behind them as well. And so I'll read both quickly, and you could choose and hear, which one resonates with you as to what is the calling for your reading. But I think we'll hear both within individuals and collectives as well. And remember, this is what we've come through. This is what is behind us. So the things that they want to rekindle within you to build strength or remind you so you don't make the same mistakes again, or empower you to move through like situations that could present themselves again. Sorry. What is going on with my book here? I flipped too many pages. Okay, she indicates the winding down of a situation, endings, necessary changes, and the end of a cycle before a new one begins. She could also indicate a real person, an elderly woman with intense, deep emotions beneath a calm surface. She is philosophical and appears detached, but she is utterly unforgiving against any offense against her. So maybe you have somebody like this in your past, that you've finally be able to get away from or to see in a new light, or perhaps you have been like that in the past in many ways and you'll be able to come out of that now, right? Now on to card number 3, the 6 of Spring. Garcona, this card is reversed. Garcona reversed in your spread. Oh, let me show you Garcona first. Garcona reversed in your spread. His message is that you are ignoring the present circumstances and opportunities to live in the past, dwelling on old loves and glories and wallowing in nostalgia. So perhaps we're feeling like that right now, right? And at times like this, where we're gathering, where there's traditions, where there's old routines, there can be a lot of that. But it's very important for us to remember what's the truth, right? And that those things, though, that we're missing or calling for or looking back on in this kind of nostalgic way, they are bits within us, and they're still alive and just as real as a memory within you. And letting that really crystallize within you might help you to move out of feeling like you have all of these stuck in the past kind of ways. And a lot of that comes from these distortions of the way that we sort of put rose-colored glasses on when we're looking in the past. But yeah, I won't get too much into that right now, but that, is a lot of shadow work. Number 4, weaknesses to overcome. And we have the Banshee. The Banshee brings you bad news or a warning of disaster. She is telling you that others are working behind the scenes to do you a disservice. Beware of evil gossip about you and treachery of disloyal friends or loved ones. So we really need to overcome this worry, is what they're telling us. They're not giving you those trigger words to spark in fear and worry and to go anxiously seeking out, or worrying and barricading yourself against these things. These are fears we need to let go of, that they don't serve our highest good. They don't serve any good at all, actually. They serve negative spiraling. And so, like I said at the start when I first saw this card, the intuitive notion that I had before this is hearkening to true warnings, and to respecting what is a real warning, but to also detaching from the emotional energetics of it, though that fight or flight real forcing of a response, a forcing of a reaction. We have to breathe into these anxieties and learn to let them go, learn to settle, and to face what is as it is, to not allow fear to amplify and engorge these sort of worries and things into bigger circumstances that they're too big for us to ever take on. We have to really poke holes in them, deflate them with conscious awareness, and say we're bigger than that, and that we can take on anything that meets us. Any wave that will crash upon the beach is not going to ruin the land. We are, as individuals, stronger than that. We are meant to meet these, waves of things. And so remembering that these are weaknesses to overcome, and allowing yourself to remember and build strength and not be chipped away and weakened by those types of worries. Card number 5 is strengths that would need to be developed, which is 6, Ain, a summer card. Oops. When the fairy Ain appears upright in your cards, she heralds harmony, new romances, marriage, commitment, friendships, cooperation. And oops, I'm spilling all my personal little notes out of here. And so, getting rid of these worries about bad things happening, disasters and unbelievable, horrible things, end of times worries. We need to really let go of those, and we need to pull in and strengthen our partnerships, our relationships, romantic love, justice, the right to innocence. And like I said before when I immediately saw this card, the story of Ain, the fairy that she represents within the myths, has many different undertones of morals and things, but one of them is when women are wronged, raped, abused, that she would provide karmatic justice for those women, especially women on like a farm. She had a lot to do with like dairy farms and things, dairy cows. I don't want to get too wrapped up in individual stories either, but it's important to understand that when we talk about strengthening love in relationships, new romance, friendship, partnerships, cooperation, these like little tag words can easily be brushed aside. But when we go and find the truth in the words, we can see that strong relationships, real cooperation, real friendship is birthed and built in this fertile ground of respect, of sovereign respect, of right to life, of right to a comfortable, positive, joyful life, that you want the best for that person, that you wouldn't want them harmed or hurt. And by invigorating and empowering our relationships with this righteous promise to never harm or cross a boundary, especially physical boundaries, and I'm speaking especially as a divine partnership with the masculine and feminine energies, right? Because when we start to build and talk about these different energies, I'm running out of time. Get 10 minutes. We start to talk about these energies, right? This is where these sort of contrasts get even birthed from, because we have this sort of actionary, directional masculine energy with that more open, receiving energy of the female. And sometimes open and receiving and all accepting can get walked all over. And it's important to remember boundaries and to hold firm your own boundaries. And that's a big lesson behind the myth and legend of her and her card, aside from just the message that comes in the card. And moving on, we're going to get to 7, which 7 is, wait, did I skip? Excuse me, 6. We skipped them. 6 obstacles that will lie in our way. We have 8, Tam Lin. The appearance of Tam Lin indicates restoration, release from a bad or frightening situation, recovery from illness, relief, pleasure after pain, and a weight lifted from the mind. Now, this is a little bit contradicting, it sounds almost, because the placement of the card says obstacles in our way. But I find this so perfectly in tune with today's collective in the mainstream, because we are really, really waiting for some savior to come and save us, and to save the day, the knight in shining armor. And it's really turning into a thorn in our side. We're using this crutch and our legs are deteriorating. We're having atrophy in our leg muscles because we're sitting in this wheelchair of waiting on the saviors to come. And it doesn't matter who you view as the savior. We've got a million of them available in the political and religious realms right now at this sort of end time apocalyptic thing we're facing. The pulling back of the veils, the uncovering of the truth, the balance has become so corrupt and so unbalanced that really now it's like forcefully needs to be changed. But we need to remember, as a collective, we are harping on all these banshee calls. Our weakness right now has been getting all caught up in the next, oh my gosh, this is the end, and oh my gosh, this is going to be, all these things, from transhumanism, the WEF, the UN, Agenda 2020, 2030 they call it now, all of these things, AI creeping in, the fourth industrial revolution and the extinction of humanity, the extinction of organic life, whether you believe their propaganda in inverted versions of climate change and all this nonsense, whatever it is, it's a pinnacle point. There's no denying it. But what we are harping on as a collective is the worrisome things. And we need to get out of that. We need to let those go. Those are not strengths, right? We got to let go of the worries of those, build our true strength, which is our cooperation and our empathy as humans to work together as mankind, right? To be kind to each other, to strengthen those relationships, and to let go, because the obstacle in our way is going to be waiting for a savior, waiting for the end. It should just be over, just the relief to come, just the gratification of being saved, to the release from pain. And it's like, when you're in pain, that's the worst thing to wait for, because it makes the wait even worse. And anybody who's ever been in real pain and been through a health crisis, been through things, physical pain, broken limbs or migraines or these sort of things that come up, that you have to learn to sit in pain because there is no way out of it. You get to understand that waiting for it to end is the worst thing ever. It's torturous to yourself. Instead, if you settle into acceptance of now, uncomfortability, and it doesn't look good right now for me, but I will get through it. I am still here. I have thoughts. I have embodiment. I have awareness. Therefore, I must be bigger than this, because it isn't breaking me. It's breaking against me. And learning that, and learning we are our own saviors, that's where that strongness will be birthed from over 2024. We're really going to see it collectively birthed. Some of us have already been there. We've been through these moments, and we're waiting on others to get there. But a lot of us are doing the work, and we need to let go of that. Let go of that romantic ending, because it's not pretty. It's long term. It is not a honeymoon fairy tale happily ever after. That's the end of the storybook. No, it's day in and day out partnership. It's 10 years into the marriage when you don't like everything about them, and they don't like everything about you, but you work together to build up the strengths, to build the love, and to let go of those weaker points, those fear and worrisome points that bring us down, and to build up those things that are skills and that will benefit us. And finally, let me get into 7. I'm wasting time. What will help us? Jack Frost, the Knave of Winter. And what a beautiful time to call on him as well. Maybe I'll do actually a next video, because there are meditations to call on each of these fairies, to work with them if they're kind-hearted fairies. So maybe I'll offer that up as own meditation in this time for all of us to do some work for what will help us. Jack Frost appears, he indicates sudden, unexpected changes, minor setbacks, temporary chaos, minor illness, accidents, and mishaps. This card may represent a real person in your life, a young man with strong opinions, but his views shift from day to day. He is clever but inconsistent, charming but easily bored. He is good company, but don't rely on him for anything important. I just love that this is what will help you too. And I love the childlike essence of Jack Frost that he represents, because we can't get mad at children. You never get mad at a little toddler boy who's just like running around enjoying everything. He enjoys this for 5 minutes and he lets it go, and he runs over to something else that catches his eye and he loves it. And they cause a little bit of disruption and chaos, but it's kind-hearted, it's nice, it's upright, it's a positive feeling. And for us, what will help us to remind us that we don't need crutches. We don't need someone to carry us. We don't need this love of our life savior of Tam Lin. That, we aren't this, chained up princess. We are our own beings. We are free to be us. And when we can accept that we could run alongside a character like Jack Frost, that's really what's going to help us. When we let go, when we let go of worrying about all these things, and we just tag into what feels good and flow with it, we'll find better solutions. We'll find enjoyment. And moving into our final card, Fairy Festival card here. This is our outcome. This is what we've been through all year to learn, and what we need to move into, and the flavors of 2024. And it is reversed. The reversed indicates immobility, constriction, censure, quiescence, sort of this refusal to move forward, this sort of stagnancy that has a lot to do with tying into your worth, your own personal heritage, your ancestry, your personal connection to spirit realm and the world, all of these flavors that come up with Samhain, with Halloween, ancestry, your personal connection to the spirit world, your veil, your apocalyptic facings that you are at these end times facing that are personal to you. Every veil is personal. So think about what yours is, and it's time to pull it back. It's time to look deeper into that and take it off. We cannot be making up excuses anymore for why we're not doing the work. I'm in a minute to close here, and I just feel like this reading is beautiful in itself. It has given us so much to ruminate on. I might actually do an afterthought voice note, or maybe a blog, so you could check that out. I'll put it up on my Telegram if I do make something like that, to just go through these messages a little more. There's so much here. And I forgot that Zoom has done these new time clippings, unfortunately. So I have to really limit myself using Zoom. But I thank you so much for joining me and for listening to these messages. And I will have this video up shortly. And like I said, I'll do this. I'm going to add that meditation to work with Jack Frost, so we can get those energies and get anchoring our new navigation into the future, into those potentials out there, and detaching from these worrisome ones in the past. Thank you so much for joining me again for this reading, and I will talk to you next time.